12 clone fragrances that are so good that you could pretty much become obsessed with any one of these. We're going to go ahead and get into this list, but before we do me a favor and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. Also, if you like the video, go ahead and take your favorite clone fragrance and apply it to the like button to show your love. All right, here we go. First up, this one has been blowing me away. I don't know when this one came out, but for some reason I never bought it. I don't know why. It was just under my radar for some reason, but this is an absolutely gorgeous, kind of dark, sweet, mysterious, somewhat spicy patchouli vanilla fragrance. I'm talking about Maison Alhamra Cassus, and this one is a clone of Parfums de Marly Carlisle. It is a gorgeous kind of earthy, chocolatey patchouli with a sweet, rich vanilla. It's got a real mysterious kind of vibe. It's got a good dose of darkness, but it's got enough sweetness and a little bit of spice that this could kind of be like my winter signature scent. I absolutely love the fragrance profile. I will tell you performance, I'm not sure about yet. I've only had it for a few days. I'm still testing it out. It doesn't seem to perform great, but most of the time with these clone fragrances, especially something that kind of a fragrance profile, after a couple weeks, it starts to perform great. So the jury's out on that. I'll let you know in future videos. Okay, this next one. This is a clone of a $325 fragrance, even on discounters. I'm talking about Bulgari Tiger. This is Afnan's clone, Tarathi Blue. For some reason, whenever I saw this and Tarathi Brown on videos, I always thought the bottle looked so cheap, and it's not attractive to me, but it's actually really good quality. It's nice glass. I thought it had like some weird plastic overlay or something. It doesn't. It's just glass that's got a little bit of a groove in it, and then it's got a nice heavy cap. But this is a gorgeous citrus aromatic fragrance. Bulgari doesn't give you really any notes about what's in the original, but I can tell you with this one, you've got grapefruit with maybe some bergamot or something like that. So a real bright citrus with a decent amount of sweetness, but then you've also got a green woody vibe as well. So citrus aromatic all the way. For a citrus fragrance, it's actually got good performance. You've got some ambroxan in there as well. So it's a blue fragrance, but it is definitely, blue fragrance done in a niche style. So definitely recommend picking that one up. The price has come down significantly in the last few months. You can get it for, $25 to $30. All right. This next one is a clone of Invictus Victory, which over the last month or two, I've really gotten to like more and more. This is Maison Alhamra's Victorioso Victory. Everyone asks, why does my bottle say Nero? The best I can figure is that some regions call it Nero. Other people online have had the same thing happen, same question, but it's Victory, no question about that. But I'll tell you, this fragrance reminds me a little bit of something like Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo, but it is nowhere near as sweet. And so you've got some vanilla, you've got some aromatics with some lavender, you've got some frankincense, you've got some pepper. So there's an interesting kind of textured, darker aromatic vibe leaning towards fresh spicy, I guess you could say. But then you've also got some vanilla. You might even have a touch of tonka bean in here. It's great. If you've smelled Uomo, it's not exactly the same. There may be 60 or 70% similar, but it's in that vein, but with a lot less sweetness. And this one you can get for super cheap. I'm going to speed it up a little. I'm taking too long on these. This next one is a clone of Parfums de Marly Godolphin, which is their leather fragrance, kind of in the vein of something like a Tuscan leather or ombre leather. And this is a good clone of Godolphin. It's basically leather. 95% of what you smell is leather, but you've also got a fruity nuance in the opening. You've got some saffron giving it the slightest kind of spicy vibe. You've also got several different aromatic notes, which I don't really pick up much, but I don't in the original either. So if you want a good leather fragrance in the vein of, you know, something like Tuscan leather, but smoother like an ombre leather, pick this one up. Really cheap on Amazon. A lot of these Maison Alhambra PDM clones are really good. This next one, this is a clone of one of the Guerlain Ideal fragrances. I think probably the most interesting of the Guerlain Ideal fragrances, and that is Extreme. This one is Fragrance World's Supreme L'Homme Extreme. And this is a gorgeous almond plum fragrance with a good dose of cedar. There's some patchouli in here, but you basically get that woods and almond, and you get that sweet plum all mixing together. It's unique, it's gorgeous, it's sweet but not overpowering, and it performs well. So this is a really good pickup. And again, these have come down in price recently as well. Okay, next, this is a fairly new pickup over the last month or two. It's definitely something that would work better in heat, but I've actually been wearing it even though we're in the winter. This is Lattafa's Badi Al Oud Sublime. You know, it's in the same bottle as like the Oud for Glory, but this one is very different from that one. This is basically fruit punch with some aromatics. It's got some lychee fruit. It's got several other fruits in the opening that give it, you know, kind of a juicy fruit punch kind of smell. But then you've also got some aromatics in this one. You've got a touch of greenness and a touch of woodiness. I can't wait to wear this one in like 90 degrees because I think that's where it's really going to shine. But again, 25 bucks. You know, these have come down a good bit since they came out as well. Great pickup from Lattafa. This next one, this is from Fragrance World, and it's a clone of Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé. It's basically Givenchy Gentleman EDP with whiskey and extra woods, and it is gorgeous. This is Al Fakir. And this one gives you that beautiful whiskey right whenever you spray it on. You do get that lipsticky iris. It's definitely very present. It's not as present as it is in the Givenchy, which is usually the case with a clone of an iris-focused fragrance. It must be expensive to do that note in a very prominent way. But this one's got it. And then, of course, you've got a good dose of sweetness. You've got a little bit of a chocolatey vibe. This is a great pickup. The woods in this one are a real standout as well. It's like, you know, the longer it sits on your skin, that sort of woody cedar vibe creeps up more and more. Okay, next, we'll go with one I've talked about a lot on the channel because it is so good. I've had it now for a year or two, and it is a super long-lasting 12-plus hour fragrance. It's a clone of BR540 Extrait. This is Amber Oud Ruby by Haramain. You've got that beautiful ruby red glass and gold bottle. And man, this one is so strong. You can see the dent that I've put in it. I haven't decanted this or anything. It's unusual for me to go through that much of a fragrance because I have so many, but I keep going back to this one over and over. It's my favorite clone of either of the BR540 fragrances. Absolutely love it. Okay, this one is a gorgeous tobacco fragrance. It's a clone of Xerjoff Naxos. Of course, I'm talking about Vue Elegante from Paris Corner. This is such a beautiful fragrance. It's like a honey tobacco. It's got a little bit of a powdery vibe. It's got some vanilla. It's got a little bit of fruitiness in the opening. It is just absolutely gorgeous. It's pretty close to Naxos. It's not a right on the nose clone, but you're definitely going to know what you're smelling. It's got a touch of an incensey vibe as well. Really good pickup, and I keep saying this, but these days you can get this one for pretty cheap, and a year ago that wasn't really the case with a lot of these. Speaking of those you can get for really cheap now, this one you can get even on Amazon for $20. It is a very good clone of Raja Parfums Elysium. This is Imperium by Fragrance World. This is basically citrus and black currant in the opening, a sweet fruitiness in the opening, and then you go down into a woody, grassy vetiver. The grassy vetiver in this one and the sweet fruitiness are very well balanced. And what I mean is they are very similar to the way that it's done in Elysium. And a lot of people have complained about performance with this one, but I get easily 6-7 hours out of this one. I didn't whenever I first got it, but the longer it sat, the better the performance. So check that one out. It's a steal if you haven't picked it up yet. Okay, this one is a great clone of Jean Paul Gaultier Ultra Male. This is a classic at this point. It's been around a few years. Everybody knows it. Afnan 9 p.m. And this is basically pear and vanilla and lavender. It's a slightly aromatic, very sweet men's fragrance. You're going to know exactly what it is right off the atomizer. I believe this one has an apple note instead of a pear note, and that mixes with the vanilla and the aromatics that I was actually surprised just now off the atomizer. I'm getting the aromatics heavier than I normally do, but this one's great. It's, to me, an all year round fragrance. I even wear this in the summer, but I'll go 2 or 3 sprays instead of 6 or 8. But it's just such a great fragrance and one that you'll recognize right away. And finally, this one is a clone of Tom Ford's Oud Wood, which I don't love Oud Wood, but the longer I've had this one, the more I've liked it. It's a little bit of a fresher take on Oud Wood. This is Oud Wonder by Fragrance World. And so this is basically a fuzzy, textured oud that is leaning a little fresher than darker, if that makes sense. It actually smells like the original Oud Wood. To me, has a little bit of, this sounds weird to some, but some of you will know what I mean, a little bit of like a fabric softener vibe with that woodiness. And this one has that, but it leans a little fresher than the original. And again, $20, $22 on Amazon now, you can pick this up. So every one of these is like excellent. They're not just like, they're okay. No, these are bangers. And most of them now you can get for super cheap. So remember to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Also, please do the like button a favor and take your favorite clone you're obsessed with and give it a spray. My name's Justin. This has been Sillage Scents.